Good morning. You're with Simon here at English Coach. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about losing 6 kilos in 6 weeks. So recently between the beginning of September and October, I started a revolutionary diet and new approach to exercise and losing weight. I'm going to share this in detail with you today, as I have lost about 6 kilos within these 6 weeks, or a month and a half, from the beginning of September, until now, in the middle of October. Now, I need to make one thing very clear before I start going through my actions. These things were not so easy to do. I was motivated more by a future feeling or a future state that I wanted to be in. For example, I don't want to be putting on weight by the end of the year. I don't want to be in a state where I'm already heavy and we're coming into Christmas and the New Year, times when people tend to eat more and become even heavier. The other reason is that heaviness itself and becoming fatter or larger is its own problem. For example, you have problems with getting up in the morning, insomnia. You have problems with being motivated. You get lethargic. You start to feel less interested in social things. You start to become a couch potato, literally. And well, if we look at that kind of lifestyle, it's a bit of a nightmare. So let me go through with you the actions that I took to turn things around, to flip the script, as it were. Now, the first thing that I did was my dietary revolution. And I did this by watching two guys right here on YouTube. Dr. Berg I, okay? He's a great authority when it comes to the kinds of diets that are good for most people. And another guy, Thomas DeLawyer. And these guys were pretty important in my development. So I followed both of these guys on YouTube and watched their videos. But basically their videos are summed up in 4 different areas. And I'm going to go through those 4 areas with you today. Okay. The first one is the dietary revolution, which means basically instead of eating your normal quantity of food, you're going to bring it down by 30 or 40%. So you're only eating 60 to 70% of your normal food, and you're feeling at the end of that meal, you're feeling that there's something missing, that you didn't eat enough. Now that feeling is very important in the beginning to start to form. This takes about 2 weeks to really form in you. So if you decide to, I'll go back to my normal diet on Saturday and Sunday, which is something most people do in the world. You know, they perform their regimented diet from Monday until Friday. Saturday comes along, you've got time with family and friends, and it's almost inevitable that you start eating things that are either bad for your diet or in a quantity that is higher than what you should be eating. So the magic trick is insist. You're not just insisting to your friends and family that you're going to be eating less, but you're sending a message to your own stomach, which is a lot stronger because the mind and the stomach are very connected. I don't know if you knew about that, but it's something that I found out is very true. So after about 2 weeks, you start to get this feeling. There will be adjustments, so you will of course, be able to go back to eating some things in the weekend. But in the beginning, it's very, very important that you insist, because this has a psychological impact on your stomach. So you're eating 30 to 40% less in each meal. The next one is potentially even harder than that, and that is cutting sugars, cutting all sugars. So it's cutting sugar from your coffee, it's stopping all kinds of soda drinks, throwing out all kinds of soda drinks, all kinds of sugary juices, juices that are too sugary, and all of these kinds of things. All sweets, all desserts, all of this stuff has to go from your diet. Sugar is one of the things that guarantees that you don't process very well your food, or you don't burn fat. This is something that I've learned from these guys on YouTube, and it's something that I've put into practice because of what they said, and it's really true. Sugars messes with your insulin, sugars messes with a whole lot of other things, and so long as you're consuming sugar, you're not really on any kind of diet. It's really true. I know a lot of people that do still consume sugar and can lose weight, but usually they have some other exceptions involved, okay? On a grand scale, there's very few people like that, and you shouldn't think that you're the exception, because it's almost 99.9% true that you are not the exception. So you will need to stop consuming any sugars. Okay. The second thing that I learned from these guys is you need to eliminate most carbohydrates. Most obvious carbohydrates like bread and pasta and rice and potatoes and these kinds of things, and consume carbohydrates that are more complex, carbohydrates that you find in the form of nuts and some seeds and some other vegetables, which can still be very good for you. Okay, so it's about cutting those things out, which is still a bit of a temptation. A lot of breads are a temptation. If you're a pasta or a pizza fan, it's a huge temptation. They're easy foods. They're easy to prepare. So you're basically cutting something out of your diet, which made your life easier, but also made you fatter. So that's a great idea. The next one is increase healthy greens like broccoli, kale, lettuce, and cabbage. Now, when I'm telling you this, I'm thinking, this is where a lot of people are going to stop watching the video right here, because it's just as difficult as not consuming sugars. It's just as difficult as giving up carbohydrates, and it's just as difficult as cutting your meals by 30 to 40%, because the perception is that these greens are not delicious. It's harder, or you need to be much more creative to put these greens into a delicious dish. Now, if you are telling yourself that you need to consume these greens in some kind of delicious dish, think again. The best way to consume these greens is wash them and eat them. You know, wash them and eat them. Don't think about creating the perfect casserole or some kind of amazing dish. Just consume them every day and use them as a substitute for some of the things that you generally eat, like potato chips or these carbohydrates, which are refined and even worse for your body. So this is some solid advice. Let me just go through again. 30 to 40% less in each meal. Eliminate all obvious sugars. Eliminate all obvious carbohydrates. Increase healthy greens. This advice was solid. I got this advice from these other teachers on YouTube, and I applied it for myself. I wanted to live this. I wanted to feel this. So I put it into practice. And these guys are right. They are 100% on the money, because it basically changed me in 1 month and 2 weeks. Okay, so secret weapons now. There's a second point here. secret weapons. Now, we do need secret weapons because they do have an impact. And my two secret weapons, which are my personal ones, but there are other ones that people use, are ACV, or apple cider vinegar, to be consumed sometimes before bed, before some big meals that you know you're going to have. Apple cider vinegar can be consumed at different parts of the day, sometimes in the morning, and this regulates the pH of your stomach, and it regulates your insulin, and it regulates other things in your body that seems to keep you much healthier and much more effective on a diet. I've had fantastic results from this, and so I really recommend it. I get excited about it. It doesn't taste very good, by the way, but once you get into the habit of taking it, you realize that this is a tool. It's not really for leisure, or it's not something to be savored, okay? And I think that's what a lot of people believe, that a diet should be comfortable and that a diet should be pleasurable. That is a lie. Food is, unhealthy food, the most unhealthy food in the world, is the most pleasurable thing to consume. Unhealthy food is pleasurable. Healthy food can be pleasurable, but it's more about forming the habit of consuming healthy food first. It's not about trying to enjoy everything, okay? A little bit of discomfort is great. Why? Because it takes you out of that little comfort zone and puts you in that area of development where you need to be if you want to make some kind of lifestyle change, okay? So, ACV, apple cider vinegar, doesn't taste good, but it's good for you. It's good for your stomach pH. It has potassium. It regulates insulin. It does a whole load of things for your stomach and your body that you need to really take note of. The second thing that I do, because I'm a real snacker, I'm a person that cannot go without snacks, is I consume pumpkin seeds. So if I'm consuming less, if I'm consuming 30 to 40% less in my meals, I'm getting super hungry between meals. So how do I remedy that? I need some kind of fast snack that I can eat in that time. So what do? I get a handful of these pumpkin seeds, and I slowly eat these pumpkin seeds for 5 to 10 minutes just to feel that I have something in my stomach. Now, these pumpkin seeds are especially good for men. They can reduce the rate of baldness. They have a whole lot of other trace elements like zinc and magnesium in them. They are fantastic. They're also recommended by these guys that I'm talking about, like Dr Berg, and they have a fantastic impact on your body, okay? So these are my two secret weapons. There are other ones that people take, including chia seeds. Chia seeds are very popular. They are very nutritious. They're very good for you, okay? Now, the third part that we're talking about here is exercise. Now, exercise is another one of those things that you need to fit into your day. So you need to plan your day so you've got this included in your day. Exercise from 30 to 50 minutes per day, either cardio or weight training. You decide one of these, preferably alternatively. Cardio one day, weight training the next. And this is something that I would do every day from Monday until Saturday. And this is to help taking on the advice and the direct content of one of the guys I'm following, Dr. Berg. He said that this kind of exercise, the weight training and the cardio training, can account for 15% of weight loss. So that's still reasonably small, but that doesn't account for the way that you are building your body up or putting the right amount of muscle in the right places in your body as you do your diet. So it helps you 15% to lose weight, but it's also helping you to put your body in shape. So I don't just recommend it, I say it's something you need to do. It's something you need to do. If you're fasting, you need to take it easier, they say. You need to take it a lot easier if you're fasting, but exercise is not just that 15% weight loss. It's also for your brain, it's also for your health, it's also for your breathing. It also regulates your sleep patterns, and your sleep also regulates your exercise. So that's a kind of positive loop that you're forming there. And that's the last thing that I want to talk about today is sleep. So I think people underestimate sleep. People talk about the fact that anyone can just sleep for 4 hours or 6 hours if they force themselves to. But if you have a bad diet, and if you're not having any exercise during your day, and you have no healthy habits, and you're sleeping 4 to 6 hours, I'm afraid that you're doing some really serious damage to your body and your brain, perhaps, because sleep has made a huge difference for me. I sleep a minimum of 8 hours. What does that mean? That means cutting a few other bad habits as well. No TV before going to bed. Either you're reading or you're meditating. So no screens at all. No going on YouTube or any other app before bed. Half an hour before bed, you're in bed meditating or reading, getting yourself prepared for that imminent sleep, and then giving yourself at least 8 hours so that your body can deal with the day and your mind can deal with the day, and so that in the morning all of your aches and pains and all of your unwells can get better again, can get ready for the next day, so that you are fully prepared. And sleep does do that. Sleep can heal you. That's why when people are very, very sick, they need to sleep, or they need to take that rest for a long, long time, and then they come back and they're basically healed. They can come back to normal again just through that process of sleep. The body is kind of healing itself. So don't listen to these people who say, oh, we can all sleep for 4 or 6 hours. We need to be super, super, super on the ball. We do need to be super, super, super on the ball, but you can do that by giving yourself 8 hours a night. And that means by going to bed slightly earlier without watching hours and hours of television. Unless you are a person who has to work at night, in which case my condolences, and I know that that is going to be really difficult. And if that is your reality, try to compensate by giving yourself an extra time to sleep during the day. Sleep does matter. Okay, so let's go from the top, okay? My dietary revolution is 30 to 40% off your meals, eating less. That is great because it also extends the amount of food in your fridge. The food in your fridge seems to last twice as long, okay, almost. Eliminate all obvious sugars. That means you probably will have to take out the soda and other things from your fridge, sweets and savory. So you're already going to be emptying your fridge before those things extend, okay? Eliminating carbohydrates, avoiding things like bread, rice, and potatoes and these kinds of things. Or reducing the quantity by such a point that they become insignificant in your diet compared with the next things, which are healthy greens, broccoli, kale, lettuce, and cabbage, because you need those things more than carbohydrates. They have a lot of trace elements, a lot of vitamins, and these are the ways to consume it. This is what your body needs. This is the roughage, okay? This is the fiber, and in some cases the protein, okay? So secret weapons, I went through secret weapons. ACV, apple cider vinegar, in the morning, in the evening. This is something that can regulate your body really well. I recommend it 100%. Pumpkin seeds as a snack, something as a filler. Not every single day and not every single hour, maybe a few days a week if you can. Something that can bring down the hunger pains, and bring up some of those trace elements. Exercise 30 to 50 minutes every day, cardio or weightlifting, depending on what you prefer and depending on what you think is going to give you results. Experimenting is important. I have experimented a lot during this time, and you will find what's best for you. Sleep, dedicating yourself to at least 8 hours, if not more. Sleep is fantastic. And imagine while you're sleeping, everything is improving. Your body is adapting and getting itself ready for a whole new day. So, I have lost 6 kilos in 6 weeks because of these rules, because of this method that I'm sharing with you today. So please take this on board. See if you can use some of these things. All of these things that I've mentioned today were real for me. They can be real for you. And I wish you good luck on your journey towards a better, healthier body and a diet that can work for you in the long term. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time on English Coach.